3, 2, 1.
This is the Mac Media Show.
Welcome to the Mac Media Show. Can you handle it, Ree?
I can't. Mac, are you tired? Ooh.
It's been a long couple of weeks. Let's just put it that way. But things are good. We're back here on the Me and Ree Review Show. This is episode 8.
Yes.
We've been a little out of sequence. July 4th holiday, and then I had a family thing, couldn't be available, so bunch of stuff. But we're back. We did 2 episodes, combined them about 10 minutes ago. We did those, and now we're recording this one, which is episode 8. And then the week of whatever next week is,
Right.
we're going to be back on schedule.
What month is
Because
it?
I don't know the date. It might be November. But,
What is today? Where am I?
One of these weeks we'll be back on schedule, so just stay tuned.
13th. It'll be July 20th.
I don't
next
care
week.
what day it is.
It'll be
It's
July 20th. All I know is I'm going on vacation August 12th, and I can't wait to turn my brain off.
well, lucky
Does
for
anybody
you.
out there ever feel that way?
Lucky for you.
I hope I'm not the only one, but I just want to sit and read a book
Yeah,
and
you're
just
not
enjoy
kidding.
my life.
Yep. I don't.
Not fix problems and not figure things out.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, you've talked about my house on the show for a little bit. I bought a property.
Yeah.
And I had a painter, come in to paint the house, get it ready. And I was moving my vehicle because my painter had to leave, so I'm backing out of the driveway, and I heard a big, loud crunch bang sound, and I turned around and looked in my rear view mirror, and my garage door was being dragged down the driveway.
Oh, my God.
My painter had left the trunk open and ripped my door out on the way out.
No.
And day
This
one,
house you just bought?
just got the keys same night we met the painter.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's been
Did you sit and cry?
it was a hollow feeling, and a very empty, soulless time of my life.
Did the painter stop after he...
Proceeded to leave.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
Now payment was made, fortunately, but it's
Oh,
a
you
big
were
it's a
lucky.
big hassle. You just
lucky.
scheduling and getting people
yeah.
out there, having to be there, and
Had
get
to
it
put another
done.
door
It's just
in,
extra
yeah.
problems,
Oh, good night.
So it's been all right, but we're
So
good.
did the painter work out good?
No, not really. I mean,
Didn't you tell me she only painted at night?
it was at night and watched the sunrise and told me
Oh,
I had
my
rabbits next door. And then, you know
gosh.
what else was the first paint job that she'd ever been hired for.
Good Lord.
So, it worked out. Got the job done. Won't be using her again. But,
Well, don't say that. You might want to use her again.
oh, she was
I
great.
mean, she was a good painter because it
You
looks
know what?
good.
We're on the air. I'm trashing her.
I saw
she's
the
been-
inside. It looked good.
She's pretty good.
Just
Pretty
took a little longer than probably a normal. But it's okay. It's all right. It looks really
That's all
nice.
right.
It
But
looks good.
thank you.
Yeah, you're lucky.
This was a good episode. Shouldn't take too long reviewing
I
it.
really liked this episode.
Did you really?
I did. I
See,
liked
I
it
felt
better
like
than
it was
7 and 8.
Oh, really? Well,
did.
I thought it was kind of just a continuation. I mean,
Well, it was. It
Fredrik
was.
went into East Village, but then Ryan and Steve were just continuation.
But I like the addition of his gentrification. Is that,
That
the
was
word?
a good move, wasn't it?
I love that.
What a great move.
I think it's cool they're adding that kind of thing into the show, which they've never done.
I'm sure that was all Fredrik's idea.
It probably was because he's just got money just flowing like a fountain. I mean, he should get back.
Man.
But but I thought that was really cool. That shows a lot about his character too. I think he is really that way, don't you?
No, I think it was a sales move.
You do.
It's very good.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I think he cares
No,
about.
I think he was concerned about problems and backlash from the neighborhood about the big buildings moving in, so he made a move, a good gesture, paid them off.
No,
Made
I don't
all
believe that.
made all the brokers believe that he had a good heart.
I don't believe that.
Oh yeah, and he made it into like a movement.
Well, sure he did, but Alberto. He was talking to Alberto at the beginning, and he started thinking. He said,
Well, sure, but
it is sad because I never realized.
Well, I think
what I do affects these people.
I agree with you. I think a piece of him feels
I
that
think so
way.
too.
But I think another piece of him says, "Oh, it's also a great opportunity for me to save some face and look good and be a helper and start off this big building moving into the neighborhood."
Yeah, could be
in a good way,
but whatever. He had the dinner. I thought it was really nice.
No, I thought it was good too. I mean, it was great, but there's also a sales side to it that makes him look good.
I think he's always selling.
Yeah, sure.
Because he said, I'm going to add a little sales pitch in here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I thought it was interesting because none of them had thought of the idea. of honestly, I'm gonna be really honest. I
Oh.
never heard the word gentrification. That's a hard word to say.
Well, you're behind the times.
You ever heard of that?
I had, yeah.
I thought he was saying gentrification at first, and I was thinking, what does that have to do with
Well,
anything?
he can also talk on that subject too.
I didn't understand gentrification.
Yeah.
That's so hard for me to say.
That's a good word. Well, I'm
But
glad
they
you.
say words are hard.
You know what? That's why we live, because you learn.
That's interesting, though. I thought it was really cool the way they brought that in.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Steve and Lori fussing?
I thought he's not, and I think he's mismanaging the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, man, I want to talk to Steve on the phone.
Me
and say,
too.
Man, put some.
Me too. No, I just want to say, look, you could have sat there and looked at her and said, look, I am the residential expert. You are the commercial. When I need commercial sold, I will go to you.
Has he not watched
I know,
this
he's not.
show?
He just gets up and leaves and goes and smokes.
You
and
know-
I'm like, what?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I was
it.
like, oh, no, don't do
Steve,
that.
listen out, man.
And the only reason that girl asked Lori to be a part of this is she was a friend. That was it.
Well, if you've watched $1 Million Listing like we have, you would know that Ryan and Fredrik have had problems with co-listings in the past,
Oh,
and the
gosh,
way that
yeah.
they handle it and nip it in the bud is that they say, I'm the expert,
Yeah.
this person's not,
Right.
we're going my way or I'm quitting.
Right.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And Steve should have done that.
I think so too. He should have just looked over very calmly and said that. And the girl had really Lori had kind of jerked him around a little bit anyway, because she didn't come to the open house till 3 hours later. He got a text in the car that she wanted him to show up at noon with her to talk to this the seller or something. And he gets in traffic and he can't get there. So he gets out of the car and rides a bike all the way to this place so he can get there. He gets there, and then she says, oh, she canceled it till tomorrow. I mean, it's like...
I think that is some production for the show.
You
though.
think so?
I think what they did was, let's make the co-listing look like it was a big problem. And a way to do that is to just continue to make it look like she's causing Steve problems.
Yeah, I guess it could.
Let's make Steve work really, 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 really hard to get there, and then she screws him again. And just da 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 da, and then the final story ended up being Steve overcame it. They sold the property, and it was it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a storyline.
I
there,
guess so.
I
guess you're right.
but she definitely is causing him problems. I think they're exaggerating the problems. Probably not that bad, and just a little bit of storyline
I
probably.
just think co-listing, you can talk. It's not like, like they show it on here where you're very not wanting to work together. I mean, the whole crux of the thing is to sell it. And, I wouldn't care what the co-lister said if the person's going along with it. You know what I mean?
What is Steve's play to take that property? Is it just to get the big number?
He said it was the property was real neat. He said something about I really wanted to sell this property.
Yeah, but what does that mean for him?
Obviously, he can say in the down the road, I sold such and such property, and it's really an odd piece.
So
or
it's
an
a
unusual
portfolio
piece. Or,
item. Yeah,
I guess
and
so.
to say we
because-
got $15 million for it.
Yeah, because he said it was an odd piece.
I've noticed that his other listings this season have not been near that price point.
It was only a 2-bedroom,
Right.
which was another negative.
He
to
seems
it.
to be like a. I don't want to say average because he's more than likely above average, but he's kind of in there so far with these listings that are like individuals.
Yeah, like when the other one started.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't gotten to the big
like just
developers
above
and-
studio apartments.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he may not want to. I mean, I would think he wanted to do
But
more
how
than that.
how can he get the big buildings without the team? And I think that's what Jessica was trying to tell him as
Here we
assistant.
go with the team again.
Yeah, and she's trying to get him to scale up some because otherwise he's going to be doing these individual deals for the rest of his career.
Well, that's true. That's true. It's just like Ryan using Danny. He had a really good salesperson. He used him for a lot, which takes a lot off of Ryan because he's got so much going on now with Brooklyn and
Sure.
Everywhere. But it was interesting too. You remember was this the episode where Mary Faye said she's moving out? Amelia's sister.
Yep, sure was.
She's moving out. She's moving to Canada. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
She's got her law degree, so I guess she's going to be a lawyer in Canada.
Yeah, I wish she wouldn't
Isn't
do
that weird?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Amelia said, now I've got to live with just you. I looked at Ryan.
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
I was thinking, yeah, you don't have your little built-in girlfriend, which is nice.
I know it.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting because that's the first time we've seen Amelia
Yeah.
this season.
No.
Well, we've seen
before.
her on the sofa, but we hadn't heard her say anything.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I don't blame her. She.
Yeah, she kind of wants to stay out of it, looks
Sure,
like.
sure. Next week, we're going to see about Fredrik and Derek having a baby again. By the way, the rumor is they are.
Really?
I don't know where I heard it. I think it was maybe Watch What Happens Live.
Wow.
But I think they're going to have kids, yeah.
What you think about Ryan's idea to do the open house and not have anything?
Yeah, I don't know the situation. I mean, it's probably a building that the previous broker, which obviously is the building he took over, they only sold one of the
Right,
6, so
right.
it's a poor job. I think all it needed was some exposure. I think the building does sell itself. It's a nice building in a nice area.
Had good views,
But
didn't
the
it? Because
price
everybody
was
kept talking about the
yeah,
views.
but the price was so cheap at this point. It's right there in the middle of everything. It's gonna sell. You don't have to do any kind of big splashy thing.
Yeah, but it was on the market for 7 months.
Yeah,
Didn't
but
get anything.
I think all it took was Ryan's name recognition.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, the headline is Ryan Serhant selling the building. Everybody goes to see it.
Well,
'cause
I
everybody
guess so. I
likes
guess
his
you're
listings.
right.
And I think at that point, once he takes it over, he's going to sell them regardless because the price is not extraordinary.
But I thought that was just really. I think the guy should have told him up front. He had some brokers that already had an exclusive.
Well, Ryan
on
knew
some of
that.
He didn't.
No, he did
He said
too.
he didn't know it.
No,
He said he didn't know at first that he had any exclusives.
I don't.
He
know about
did.
that.
Because then he went back later and said, "Okay, are there any more?"
Okay,
Because
maybe
they
you're
kept selling
right.
them.
I remember.
I think they
that.
were selling them off of Ryan's name.
You may be right about that.
I think he should have told him up front, look, I've got this, and this, and then this one, 3 or 4, whatever, and they've got exclusive listings. If these people come back, they have the right to sell it and make the commission.
Right.
He should have told him that up front because it kind of caught him off guard, and he didn't make any commission on it. And then they kept coming.
Yeah.
And Ryan's promoting it, and they're making the commission.
That's right.
I mean, I kind of see what he meant.
Sure.
And you're right with the TV exposure and all that stuff. People are going to come back.
Oh, sure.
They'll say, "Oh, I bought in the building that Ryan was on TV with," or whatever.
And
but
sure, and people just want to
that's
get.
not fair.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with that because you are supposed. I mean, I guess it's ethically more than. No, it might be in the contract, but you need to tell people when there are exclusivities when you take a listing, because most of the time they'll tell you. They'll
Right.
say, "So and so has an exclusive on this one couple because they saw it before you took it and whatever." And so up front if it happens, you knew it, but it's not fun to be caught off guard with that. So I think you should have told him that.
Sure.
But it was good. I mean, he ended up selling stuff anyway, so it ended up being good. But you're right. I think it would have sold itself anyway.
I think
those
so.
great views, the terrace area, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think Ryan just needed to get the people in there, say the TV camera's going to be here filming, and get all the people there, and then eventually they find the buyers,
You like those 19-foot ceilings?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Man, that is high. isn't it?
Yeah, that's neat that we got to see Fredrik was in the development stages on his building, and he walked into a penthouse under construction, and he said it's going to be 19 ceilings. But then you got to see a finished project that Ryan was in today that also had 19-foot ceilings, so we were able to see what it would look like when it was finished.
Good night. That's high.
I like that, though. You
Man,
get big
it's a lot of
windows,
room.
so you get the view, and it's neat.
You do.
Yeah.
All the windows and stuff. It was. Yeah,
It's
it was
really
neat.
cool. I wonder if those windows have the thermal temperature control.
I
in
wonder
them,
because it's got to be hot coming
gotta
in
get
there.
hot, yeah.
Surely they've got that tint. And
It's a thick
stuff on
glass.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it does.
It has to be because you couldn't stand it up there.
Right.
I mean, it'd be too hot.
But it's
It'd be
nice.
too hot or too cold.
Yeah, I
Because
think
it
that,
snows up there and everything.
I think the sun would get old. It would be blinding,
we
after a
need to
while.
ask them.
Yeah.
Well, they've probably got those, automatic blinds that come down too.
Maybe.
I would think you'd have that if you were up there.
Anyway.
But it was interesting. Do you like the decision that Steve Gold and Lori made on just trying to get a higher price and not counter on this?
No,
thing?
I don't
I
like
would have
it.
countered.
Now, something's going wrong with that.
Yeah,
listing,
no,
huh?
because you've got somebody interested. Go back in the middle.
It was too far off, that one. I mean,
think
I
so?
agree with their decision to do that, but what I would have done is handle the situation with Lori better.
Yeah, I would have done that too.
I wouldn't have gone out and smoked a cigarette,
Yeah, I would have handled it.
I
that
would have
way,
nipped
too.
it in the bud and said, look, I know what I'm doing. She doesn't. And you want to sell it, you got to listen to me. I'll have her list it with me because I agreed to that, but we got to do it under my terms. Mm-hmm. And if they don't agree to that, then I'd walk. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, that's. What do you think about Matt? The
developer
with,
for Ryan?
with Ryan when he went back and forth on that last. And I thought that was a good point that Ryan brought up. You have discounted the penthouses. He didn't want to discount the lower one, but he had discounted the penthouses.
Yeah.
So it made sense.
Well,
to
he
say.
wanted more per square foot for the lower.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
He didn't get that at all.
I know. So I thought that was a good point that Ryan brought up.
Well, sure.
Good selling point.
You can't have the penthouse be a less per square foot price than the.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, he did agree on what 4.5.
They have
He
to.
ended up selling it. Well, at least Ryan got that one.
They would have never bought the ground units, for more. That would never have sold ever.
Right.
And the developer knew that, and he screwed up.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have discounted the penthouses.
Right.
But it's been on the market for 8 months. You've got to.
Oh, I would have thought he would have jumped at it.
Yeah,
I
you've
thought it
got
was a
to.
great deal for him.
Yeah.
I was surprised he didn't jump
By
at
the way,
it.
I think that guy Matt, the developer, looked like the SNL comedy. You remember there's a guy in SNL that looks just like him.
Oh, he does sort of look like
Oh
him.
man, it looks just
Yeah,
like
he
him.
does sort of look like him. It's like the guy didn't want to smile.
Yeah.
I wonder if they tell him,
Yeah, I don't know.
be stern.
They all act like that, don't they?
I would love to know.
They are all that way. You know who we haven't seen?
Who?
Is the curly-haired guy.
Oh,
Zach Vella.
Zach Vella, yeah.
He hadn't been on there for a while.
I wonder what he's doing.
He went out to L.A. and did a property. Remember that?
He did. He sure did.
Anyway, I miss Zach. He was a
Oh,
good guy.
wow, that's right. He was a good friend of Frederick's.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Because he came to the wedding.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I liked him.
Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. Well, maybe we will see Steve start dating more in the next, coming months.
Maybe.
I'd like to see, well, I tell you what, I think I was watching Andy Cohen the other day, and I think Ryan was on there.
Right.
And he said that Steve was married. Or was that Fredrik? Was he talking about Fredrik, or was he talking about... I thought he said Steve, they were talking about Steve Gold. And Andy was asking him, would you rather, if you were buying property in New York, would you rather buy from Steve or Fredrik? It was those kind of questions.
Right.
And he said that Steve was married, I thought now, and had his dog, I don't know. Maybe he was maybe I misunderstood that. But
Yeah.
I was wondering if he's married now because
think so.
this is, this is back. They filmed all this back, before, but I bet you he's dating now though.
Right.
I'm sure the TV show is having everybody come out of the woodwork.
Right.
He is cute though. I mean, he's cute. I think he's cute.
Hmm.
You think he's cute? How old is he?
I'm trying to
Like
find that out.
35, 36?
I'm Googling him.
Yeah, he looks like he's 35 or 36.
He's definitely not married.
So he didn't get married. Must have been talking about Fredrik. And I didn't understand it.
Well,
But he said something about his dog. Hey, let me ask you something.
sure.
I saw the other day on TV that patriotism for millennials, which I know you're not a millennial, but it doesn't matter, but that patriotism had hit a low point with them. That only 35% of millennials said they were patriotic.
What in this
You ever heard of that?
conversation today made you think about that?
You know what? I don't know, but
'Cause
you
this
know
is
what?
the
I had
Me and
seen it the
Reed
other day.
Review show. We don't.
I know, but I just wanted your opinion on that. Do you really think that's true?
Well, I don't give my opinion on anything outside of $1 Million Listing.
When did you get so solemn?
I don't know. What was your question? I'll
That's
answer that
weird.
question.
I just
Where
didn't
is that?
believe that. I don't believe that.
They're less patriotic?
Yeah, it said millennials were saying that they were. There was only 35% of millennials that said they were patriotic. Now, I don't believe that.
What does that mean?
That means that they believe in the country. That they believe that.
I'm living in this country that I don't believe in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That
That's
doesn't
bull.
make sense. That's
I don't
bull.
believe that.
I don't believe that either.
I just can't believe millennials. I mean, especially millennials have the open door now to their own businesses.
Tell you
and
what you got to do
entrepreneur-
in that situation. You got to go to the article. You got to look at the author. Google the author.
Well, okay.
Figure out where he hangs out.
Well, I just like to listen to the little tidbits of news, and then I just go off and run with it.
Is that what you do?
That is not what
Well,
I
that's
do.
good. I
but
thought
I'm
I
just
saw you
saying
running
that.
down the street with the news in your backpack. I saw that.
I take one little sentence out of it, like CNN and everybody else, and then I just run with it.
Well, I would say look into the author on that one. I don't believe that.
I don't either. I don't think that
mean,
was
you
on
live
the
in-
national news, which is sometimes fake news. so
Most young people love this country.
I
They-
think so too.
You know?
I would think the millennials, especially because they see the opportunities.
Yeah.
They really do.
Who knows? Good question.
Anyway, it was just on my mind.
Steve dates for the rest of his life. My prediction.
You think so?
Don't get married.
You don't think he'll ever get married?
I see too many divorces. My goodness.
But you see a lot of marriages too.
I see a lot of unhappy marriages.
I don't know about
I
that.
see bored marriages. I see very few.
But you know what?
marriages.
You have to make it work.
Well, I don't want to make anything work. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, you have to have that commonality when you get
you
married.
know, somebody made a good point to me the other day. Now that we're on the marriage subject, they said, think about your life as a whole. Okay, driving a car. Okay, it's got 20,000 miles on it, and 80,000 miles. I decide I'm going to buy a new car. And you say, why do I want to buy a new car? I don't need to buy a new car. This car still runs. Well, I want a new car because it's got the new technology, because it's got a new feature, or it smells better, or it looks better, or it's cooler, it's trendier. Because I'm just tired of my old car. I've used it for so long. Okay. Why do you expect when we do that with cell phones, with cars, with all of the things in our lives, the one thing that we don't do is we stay married to the same person forever? You know what I mean? You don't change that person. You live together for the rest of your entire lives. That's about the only thing that stays constant in your life is marriage, whereas everything else is replaced and renewed for something better. You know what I mean?
There is a difference.
Well, you can't
These
compare
are human beings.
No, I understand.
The others are intangible
But
objects.
I think as human nature goes, I think we get tired of the same thing after a period of time with anything, with humans, with cars, with anything. I think it's just human nature. That's why it becomes work at a point when you're tired of it, you're stuck. And it becomes work and it becomes miserable. It's just like my car. If I'm tired and bored of my car, I have to drive it for another 150,000 miles. It's going to be a pain. You're going to become mad at the vehicle because you're tired of driving it and you want something different. It becomes work to drive the vehicle.
Well, what about changing your mind about it? What if you change the way you think about it and you make accommodations to make it more fun, or you make it work out better, or you find something that you added something new to the car that made it, spiced it up, made it more current, made you feel more like if you didn't have a GPS. And
in order to do that, it becomes more work. Now I have to figure out how to spice it up. Now I have to figure out where to spice it up from. Do I need to buy something in order to spice it up?
The only thing about human beings that's different to me on that is people change. I mean, people, there's seasons of life, and people change for reasons,
Absolutely.
for health reasons, for just a lot of reasons.
And so, with our lives built with change, everything in our life changes after a period of time. Why do we expect marriages to work? It seems counter to what we do with everything else in our lives. It's a very traditional concept in a world that's so fast-paced and changing all the time. Why not have a society that enjoys spending time with each other for years, 10, 15 years, but you have your separate lives, your separate houses, your separate things, and you come together to enjoy each other. And then you go back to your separate lives, and you come together to enjoy each other, and then you go back.
Yeah, but it gets really complicated when you add children. They need two parents. They need that stability. They need the home. They need that to raise them.
That's right. But when children grow and they're adults, why not go back to separate lives?
A lot of people do.
Sure they do. But that's my point. I think that should be, as a society, I think that should be the norm instead of.
I just think you change so much from
Always.
your 20s to your 60s, and the way you think, the way you do things, the way you are.
It's like, why not Steve Gold? Why get married, Steve? Why not just date people for long periods of time?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
why is there a pressure? I just Google.
There might be a time he really wants to do everything with that person. What about that?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, why is it? It's odd as society. Okay, I Google Steve Gold to see if he's married. First article that comes up 2 days ago is written, Steve Gold's girlfriend in 2017. Is Steve Gold married? Is he gay? Because he's his age and he's not married, people think he's gay.
Yeah. In this day and age, they do, don't they?
Yeah, and I just don't understand that. It shouldn't be that way.
No.
There's a traditional concept is, oh, wow, he's that old and he's not married. What's wrong with him?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true.
And that shouldn't be that way.
And sometimes there is something wrong with them.
Well, sure.
Believe me, I know.
No, sure. I understand. Because as traditions are, people get married.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but you look at some other things and go, this ain't right.
But you realize somebody opened my eyes, because I'm a traditional type. Mm-hmm. I'm that way. I've just always assumed that you get married. But somebody said to me the other day, why does it have to be that way? Why couldn't society say, oh, he's not married? That doesn't mean anything.
I'll tell you what.
It just opened my eyes and said,
society
it could just as easily be the other way as
Yeah, but
it
let
is
me
this
tell
way.
you
know
what
I'm
society does do. They will look at you as normal if you looked at Steve Gold and you said, "Oh, but he's divorced, but he's 37 now and he's not married."
Then it becomes
you
normal.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So,
But
that
it
shouldn't be right.
Absolutely.
Because you should look at a 37-year-old and say, they just hadn't found that right person
That's right.
that they want to spend time with.
That's right.
And you've got to be sure that you have a lot in common. Because if you don't, one person doesn't need somebody else following them around.
Yeah, but guess what? Interests change. Hobbies change.
They do. But you should be able to be so independent that you change it, but you come back together
Absolutely.
and enjoy each other.
Absolutely.
I don't think you need to be the same person.
But that's why marriage exists, so that for those people that have that relationship, it works well. But the majority of people don't have that relationship.
You've got to know what you want. You've got to know who you are.
But I think the key thing is here, to just wrap this up, is the pressure.
It is.
Steve feels the pressure to get married. That's why it's like a job now that he goes out dating. Oh, I have to go date to try to figure.
Well, I think he's getting to the age. You do want children.
Sure.
A lot of people do. And so he's thinking, well, if I'm going to have children, I need to be dating to find somebody that I might want to marry.
Now, don't get me wrong, because I feel like you're taking what I just said and you're saying that I'm saying that's the only reason he's dating. No, I think it's his choice that he's dating. He wants to be. He wants to find somebody. And if you want to find somebody, then you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, maybe they don't want to make that choice, but they do, and it's the wrong choice because they let pressure
they
of
let
society
the pressure get to them, yeah.
Absolutely.
And they just marry because they think you're supposed to get married.
And I had a meeting the other day, and all he said was the society's thoughts about marriage could just as easily be the opposite as it is today about the pressure of getting married. It could just as easily be pressure of not getting married. Mm-hmm. It's just we've chosen in the last 200 years to everybody get married. That's a traditional thing in most
it's stability.
societies.
It keeps it stable.
It's
If you
very
got
interesting.
people just running around having kids and not responsibility and
But you know what's changing this paradigm a little bit?
What's that?
Is the fact that everything is on demand.
Yeah.
Ever since Netflix, people have started questioning everything that wasn't personalized. Where like everything, you can have your phone and your food and your TV shows when, where, and how you want it. On demand, personalized to your preferences.
Selfish.
Yeah, well, independent, selfish, whatever you call it,
Yeah, but you think about if you get used to that kind of life and you meet somebody you're not willing to give.
But here's the thing. Society has everything on demand now thanks to technology. And they're saying, and because of that, things change very quickly now. We get new cell phones, we get new shows, we get new everything, we get better news, we get faster news, we get more news. And then you still have the same person that you live with. And see, that's challenging this traditional marriage, idea, because everything else around it is changing so fast because of technology and on-demand abilities. People are now saying, well, maybe we don't have to get married and stay with the same person forever because everything else is personalized. Why not personalize our, spouse situation? So now you have people that are coming back and saying, oh, maybe it's shifting a little bit. Maybe we're going back to just, everybody gets their own place and lives and comes together and lives,
Never thought about it.
It's going to be one big happy orgy in about 200 years.
No. I just think you have to make a good choice up front.
Good conversation,
It needs to be somebody you need to think.
I don't know how I feel about it.
With your brain.
But see, it does. Even if you do, you say for the first 10 years you thought about it and you got the same interests and you're compatible and da-da-da-da-da. How are you going to be able to say, 40 years from now she's going to want to sell the house and become an Olympic skier,
That's true.
You don't know that? Mm-mm. So as people change, marriages can change. And I don't think it should be a society, an issue.
Well, maybe you have to agree to disagree. Like if one of them wants to travel and one of them doesn't,
right?
You say, hey, have at it. Go travel.
Go ahead.
Go to Europe. Go do whatever.
Sure.
I want to stay home.
That's right.
But you don't get divorced over it.
Maybe.
You just do your own thing. And I don't see why you can't have autonomy in a marriage. I don't.
Very true. Very good.
Yeah, it's just because you get married doesn't mean you're just a duplicate copy of somebody else, and you have to do whatever they want to do all the time. That's not it.
Well, good conversation.
Oh, it was.
Very good.
Yeah.
This has been Mac.
And I'm Ree.
Keep it all biz.
See you on the podcast.